to you.
Hello viewers, my name is Ebele Salami, coming to you on Ayola TV, the station to be. With me today are two wonderful guest speakers. By the time I'm done introducing them, you will agree with me that they are indeed wonderful guest speakers. I'll do a brief introduction and then they will introduce themselves properly. Thank you. With me is Dr. Jones Lucas. He has a degree in electrical engineering, a master's in organizational development, PhD in computer science, and the rest ongoing. As well as Dr. Beatrice Lucas. She has a degree in economics, master's in business administration, also doctorate in business administration. They are both passionate coaches in personal and business development, using great achievers mindset and marriage strings program to inspire and enlighten people. They are founders of the Stitching Motivate Netherlands, as well as the Most String Limited Kenya. They are both achieved members of the Trinity International Church Leichendam for over 10 years. Now we'll talk about their personal life a little bit. They are both been married for 21 years. They went to the same university. They were both guitar lessons, which is very interesting to me. They have also worked together in various organizations, including United Nations. They both have two wonderful children, 17 and 21. Welcome, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Lucas.
Thank you so very
Good to
much.
have you here
Yes.
in the studio.
Yes, it's wonderful to be here.
Yes, wow.
Yes.
I would like to go straight to one of my very first questions,
Yes.
which is to Dr. Jones. And I want you to tell us more about yourself.
Well, thank you very much. I'm excited to be here today. Just to say something more extra about myself. I grew up in a village in Kenya, in the western side near Lake Victoria. But then I went to school in Nairobi, the capital city of Nairobi. That's where I spent a big part of my youth. Very interesting. I grew up thinking, oh, I want to be this person that can create some form of positive influence to the society. But then I realized I can't do it alone. I needed a partner to go through this journey with me. So it is very, that's when I met Flower while I was at the university. And she caught onto my vision. And together we are here.
Okay, very interesting and straight to the point. And for Dr. Beatrice, can you tell us a little about yourself as well?
Yes, thank you so very much. I'm really honored to be here. And you already said my names. But one very important name to me and to marriage strings is the name Flower. Now, I come from Kenya as well, from a beautiful place on the slopes of Mount Kenya. And from there, I went to Nairobi University, and that's where I met this tall, dark, handsome man that I love so much. And as he said, our vision and our interests got coined together. And one thing that he did from day one is to call me Flower. And so that is one name that has stuck all along. And we're here in the Netherlands. We've been living here now for about 13 years. And like you mentioned, we have two kids, 21 years and 17 years. So we have a full house, teenagers now. And so we are so glad to be here. You will hear more about our story as time goes.
Yes, Flower.
Yes.
Like Dr. Jones will say,
Yes.
I know it's not my place to call you that.
Thank you.
Yes.
There is a whole territory, it's territorial.
Indeed.
Territorial.
I respect it. I
Right.
respect it very well. But it's such a beautiful name from a handsome husband.
Yes,
Yes. And my next question goes to, what's your day-to-day life when it comes to your business world and ministry? How is it like?
I think I will start. I would say it's very, very simple. I wake up, I find flour next to me, and I start the day rejoicing, happy. But it's not as easy as that. I've oversimplified it. Well, what consumes us, we have a passion to make the world a better place. And one of the ways in which we do so, both of us, we work for the International Criminal Court, and we try to help reduce the level of impunity in the world. So you can see, we are passionate. We want to help make the planet a better place. But then we also do realize that families play an important role in making this world a better place. So it's also another secondary passion of ours to go back and see what is affecting families. What do families need so that we can grow up in these units and make a big difference in the world? So our day is packed. Our day is full of dealing with lawyers. Both of us, we deal with lawyers. At the end of the day, we come back and deal with the real people, family people, married couples, husbands, wives, young people, youth, and so on. So you can see it is full. It is full, but we absolutely love it, absolutely love it. With flour by my side, I think I am the luckiest person in the whole world.
Yes.
Yes, I can see the passion in your eyes with which you speak about what you love to do. So my next question is, how do you juggle? How do you combine this passion for helping people, as well as the family, and also having time for your love, for the love you have for each other?
Yes.
How do you combine, or how do you juggle these things?
Yes,
I just do what she tells me to do.
I tell him to do many things.
And we would like to hear
Yes.
things,
Well, it's very interesting because both of us have been very busy people right from university when we met. At the time I met my husband, he was already working. He had a company car, I remember very well, working for an engineering firm. He was also a student, and he was doing his little artwork business as well. And myself, I was a student. I was in the Christian Union Executive Committee, taking care of about 500 students, and I had my own business aside. And then the two of us came together in a very interesting story that is very well explained in our books, and so we would encourage people also to look at our books. Then both of us met and got married, and that busy life did not stop. So we got married, we started our own company, and then we got now involved with the International Civil Services. That's how we got to the United Nations. And like you had at the beginning, we have quite a number of credentials, next to our names. And then we have two wonderful kids. And so your question is really valid. So what has kept us going in all this busy life? But it's one key thing that we have done is to respect family time. Right from the beginning, we have had to prioritize our family life. When we got our two children, I stayed out of work for 5 years to take care of our children. So that is family time, quality family time. And then when the kids went to school, then again I got employed. We got our own company as well. We became very busy. So we decided that every Sunday is family time. And we respect that to the core. If you ask me, what are you going to do tomorrow? It's a Sunday. I can tell you, me, my sweetheart here, and our 2 kids are going to Rotterdam tomorrow. Nobody can book that time. And so we also have our own time as lovers. So Monday evening is our time.
Yes.
After work, food is already cooked, everything is prepared before. We just park and go somewhere quiet, the 2 of us. And what has this done? It's these little values that I believe keeps the family united, keeps the family together, keeps the love going. Because I believe that love is the glue that sticks everything together. And one more thing I didn't mention, we always eat dinner together, always. Our kids, sometimes they're out of the house, now we are empty nesters. And even when they're not there, the 2 of us share dinner, always. So that is very interesting. So family time is one thing that has really helped us to keep going. And that has given us the courage to face job, to face our studies, and to face family life and love as well.
Wow.
I couldn't explain as good as she has explained. So I just do what she tells me to do.
I can see that is really I'm going to take you back a bit.
Yes.
To how you met. I
Yes.
heard her say, when I met my husband.
Yes.
And
It's,
from your biography, your introduction, I could see something about guitar there.
yes.
Can you tell us a brief about how that
came to
Yes,
coining.
that's-
Yes.
that moment?
Yes. It's very interesting because this is one story that has really been a highlight in each one of our books. And we have been asked to narrate this story many times. And our story is very unique because I had just joined Nairobi University and I was a first-year student. And I remember I had just settled on the first floor of the Women's Hall of Nairobi University. And one Sunday morning, after having breakfast, I heard this nice Christian soothing music. And having a Christian background, that caught my ear very fast. So I became a bit curious. So I decided, why not go and just follow this music and see where it's coming from. So it was a beautiful small church just neighboring the hall, the halls of residence. And so I go inside and I peep and it's like, oh, most of them are university students. So I sat down and lo and behold, I look in front and we have the music band, the music is playing and there's this tall, dark, handsome man holding a rhythm guitar with a nice, smart, gray suit. And I was like, wow. I remembered all of a sudden that I've had a very deep desire to learn how to play the guitar. So inside me, I'm like, okay, at the end of this service, I'm going to approach him. So that's what I did. So at the end of the service, I go to the stage, and he was busy wrapping up and, putting the keyboards together and the guitar. And I looked at him and I said, excuse me, sir, my name is Beatrice. And he said, oh, my name is Jones. Very nice, deep voice. And then I asked him, could you mind teaching me how to play the guitar? And I was quiet, and he was so quick to say yes. And I was like, yay! So we planned to have guitar lessons every Saturday. But after a couple of lessons, guess what happened? Students went on strike. They threw stones. And so we were beaten by police, and then the university was closed, and so we lost touch. But by the time, and this is where now the whole story now starts becoming interesting. By the time we came back, we were all very busy. I was in the executive committee in the Christian Union. He was now already working. And then I realized Jones is doing very well. He has something he is doing that is very unique. So why not invite him to come and talk to the students? So I was the first person to actually interview him. So
that was my first interview.
That was his first interview. That really
In life.
bold. And so it was live and in front of 500 students, and I'm asking Jones all the questions. And of course, along I asked him about the guitar strings and the guitar. But one question that was very interesting that I asked him, behind every successful man is a woman. Is there a woman behind your success? Because Jones is meant to be in the same class with us, but he is already working, he has a company car, he is in a company house, he is a student. What is inspiring you, Jones? Is there a woman behind your life? And he looked at me and he went quiet for some time and he said, "No, there is no woman." And I remember the exact words he said after that. He said, "I'm a self-motivated, hard-working, determined, independent person. And whenever I focus on anything, I make sure I achieve it." And in my mind, I thought, this man has something I can connect with. His personality, his vision. He has a vision already, so I can connect with him. And I believe I have something I can also bring on the table. And so going back now to the guitar strings, finally he taught me a few lessons, and then we got married after our graduation. But then after our marriage, we have become coaches, marriage coaches, so we have talked to so many people. We did research on marriages. And after doing our research, we discovered there are 6 key elements that are very important to every marriage. And that takes me back to the guitar he was teaching me with, because it had 6 strings. And so there was no better way to name the 6 elements for every marriage than to call them 6 marriage strings. And so by the end of the day, to cut the whole long story short, the guitar strings got tuned and attached towards love and happiness. So we got married.
Wow, I can see the magic in the guitar strings. What an interesting story.
It is, it is, it is, it is.
And I could feel the passion with which you were telling the story.
Yes.
It's really meant a lot to the both of you. That brings me to my next question to Dr. Jones.
Yes.
What has been that promise that has kept the two of you together? There must have been some difficult moments. I know there has been a lot of lovey-dovey times, but there has also been some difficult moments. What are those promises, those times that things were really difficult? What kept you going?
Interesting. Getting back to where she left off, I say that when she interviewed me, that was my real first interview in my life.
Okay.
I was this quiet, very shy gentleman. In fact, when I grew up, as growing up in class, studying class, when the bell rings for the children to run out, I used to hide behind the door. I hide behind the door and wait for the bell to ring again and then come back to class. That is how shy I was. Now, I had some things that were speaking to me. I could speak inside my head, but rarely could I articulate it using my mouth. So when Flower came into my life, she was a spark that prompted me to begin to speak.
Yes, yes.
To begin to speak. And that interview, when she asked me, is there a woman in your life? That was, to me, it was a brainwave. I said, hey, am I on an interview here? This girl looks to be the real deal. I better say there is none.
So it was a trick. Okay, now I get it. Now I get to know.
I better say there is none, you know. And then through her, I learned that it's very important for me to speak up, to say what my vision is, to say what my plans are. And I began to speak them and to show that, hey, by the way, we can start a family and our family is going to be great. So it started by me speaking, drawing out that from inside me.
Wow, thank you so much. I can see she really looks like a flower. You've really, really, brought out the flower in her.
I've been pruned.
Yes.
And manured.
And manured. And watered.
And watered, yes. So at this time we're going to take a short break.
Yes.
Viewers, please hold on, don't touch the dial. We're going on a short break and we'll be back soon. Stay tuned.
You are here, touching every life. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, meeting every need. I worship you. I worship you. Oh, devotion, dear Mazekea. Cheta, 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 I am God and I never fail. Cheta, Cheta, yesterday, today and forever the same. Cheta, 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 remember. I am Jehovah, and I am able. shattered. Yesterday, today and forever the same. Shattered, shattered. A children now shattered, shattered, shattered. A children now shattered. Remember, and never forget it at all.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching Ayola TV, and we're on Relate and Talk show. And with me again is Dr. Jones and Dr. Beatrice. Now, I'm taking off from where we left off. I would like to ask a very interesting question, which says it's more about relationships. What do you think are it's wrong with relationships these days? What is essentially wrong with relationships these days?
Thank you. What actually inspired us to start Marriage Strings is, after doing a lot of research and traveling aloud, we discovered that the rate of divorce is on the rise. And some countries like Portugal, it's 71% divorce rate. Here in Netherlands, it's about 53%. Countries like Belgium, it's 68%. In Africa, it's increasing. and growing higher and higher very fast, from 20 to 30. And so this is what inspired us to do our research. And for every relationship to survive, we discovered that there are 6 key elements, which we call the 6 marriage strings. And the opposite is also true. If these 6 elements, which I'm going to share with you now, are not taken care of, then the marriage will not succeed. Your relationship will not succeed. And the first one is the loving string. Now, what happens is that when we are dating, when we are courting, Mother Nature is so much with us. So there's lovey-dovey, you know, the adrenaline, that love is there, and it's
hormones.
beautiful. The hormones are on the rise. And that is beautiful. But what happens after 2 years of marriage? Mother Nature disappears through the window, exposing all the weaknesses and the flaws of the marriage. And so what exactly goes wrong at that point? There are many other factors that start coming in. Children, in-laws, maybe financial crisis here and there. And what happens is that we forget to love one another. We forget to prioritize our love relationship and prioritize our spouses. And this is where the loving string comes in very handy. You need to prioritize your spouse. Your relationship has to be top priority, creating time for one another. Now, the second string is the gifting string. I love gifts. That's why I'm a flower, because I love flowers. And what we advise couples to do is to give and give. So what is happening now? The reverse. We have forgotten how to give. We have forgotten how to become great givers. So we are not anymore giving each other. That is the gifting string. And then we have the sharing string. Now the sharing string to me is very important, because what has happened is that has been thrown now through the window again. People are no longer sharing their decisions. They are no longer planning things. They are no longer sharing their preferences. And so this makes the relationship start drifting. The fourth string is the sex string. And what has happened in many marriages after doing our research is that many marriages are using it as a punitive act. It's more or less like, well, we're not in good terms, so sorry. For 1 month, I'm not giving it. So we are using it like a punishment. And so it needs, something has to be done there. And then we come to the guarding string. Guarding string is what we call, it's more about loyalty, the fidelity, loving one another, and guarding that love. That is really missing in relationships today. So that's why the rate of divorce is on the rise. And the last one, and most important as well, the talking string. Talking. We have forgotten how to communicate. We are no longer communicating with one another. And sometimes we could be communicating, you could be talking, but the other person is not listening actively. So you're not understanding each other. And so this is what is really happening. These 6 strings are missing in many relationships. And that's what is causing a drift in the marriage relationship, in the relationship between the spouses. But if these 6 strings are taken care of, believe me, there'll be a major change.
Wow. 6 strings.
Yeah,
Yes.
6 strings.
Strong 6 strings. You have just summarized in few words for us here.
Right.
But I want to ask, when those 6 strings, or when those 6 strings are like going sour, like you said, what are the transitions? How can one pick up again and love again? Because they're really strong, but there are times that it could really go sour. How can one pick up and love again, Dr. Jones?
Oh, fantastic. Very good. You know, right here we are seated with, next to us, a beautiful ovation guitar that represents those 6 strings.
But it was a gift, birthday gift. Gifting
Yeah,
again.
you see, this is a perfect gift for me. And leaving this guitar here and letting it stand for months, what happens is it gets out of tune. It gets out of tune because you have 6 strings that are under tension all the time. If you don't tune the strings, what comes out is terrible. It's terrible.
The sound is
Really, yeah. It's really terrible. And it's very important, just as the same way we take care of this guitar to make the strings in tune, that's exactly the same way we also do our marriages. Each string has to be tuned perfectly. The love string, the gifting string, the sharing string, the sex string, the talking string, the God. Each string is important. As it gets loose, we tune it. So our job, what we spend a lot of hours speaking to couples is how do we tune each of the strings. I learned this when I first sang a romantic song to Flower. And I think in this song, you probably just realize a little bit about what it means to have a harmonious tune that is coming out of perfectly tuned love strings. Can we try it?
Yes.
Let's try it. All right, let's see. I'm gonna put an African twist on it a little bit. This is a love song I sang to her for the first time when I was courting her. He who began a good work in you. Yes, yes. He who began a good work in me, He'll be faithful to complete it. He'll be faithful to complete it. He who started the work will be faithful to complete it in me. He who began a good work in you. He who began a good work in you, He'll be faithful to complete it. He'll be faithful to complete it. He who started the work will be faithful to complete it in you. You see?
Wow.
Perfectly tuned
Yes,
6
yeah.
strings.
Now you have inspired me. I have to learn the guitar.
Yes,
That
indeed.
will
6 strings.
Keep everyone, keep your mind, make you remember the 6 strings. And when you relate it to your relationship, then you know the importance
Yes.
of the 6 strings.
Yes, and our books as
Fantastic.
well, because they are all well
Fantastic.
expounded on that
Yes,
as well.
I was coming
The
to
6,
the
yeah.
books
Yes,
as well. Yes.
Yeah.
I love the
Interesting.
one that says
There's this one, tuning
how
a little.
to make how blossom.
Ah,
Something
this
about
one.
the blossom.
Yes.
Yes.
The woman has to blossom.
Has
The
to
lady, she has to
blossom.
blossom.
I'm
Yes.
sure the viewers will be so interested in this one. What she needs to blossom.
Yes.
What inspired this book?
It's actually after talking to couples for many years, and especially my dad,
Okay.
we realized that our brothers don't know how to nurture, and they don't know how to take care of the ladies. And so we came up with 2 very important books that are well geared towards that. And this is the first one, What She Needs to Blossom. What does this lady need to keep her happy? What does she need to keep going? What does she need to keep flourishing like flower? That's how we came up with this book. Now, this book is actually for both spouses. And those that have been reading it together, because it has a lot that goes on around the life of a lady, including bringing up children, including her passion, including her work life. So this book is actually all-rounded. Whilst the topic is what makes her blossom, it's all-rounded. So we encourage everyone to grab this book. Now, this one is for our brothers. How to become a nurturing husband. Now, our research has shown us that nurturing doesn't come naturally to our brothers. It's not natural to a man. Because when I think about nurturing, I'm thinking about my mother taking care of me. Taking care of me, giving me that unconditional love, pampering me. Now, replace mother with a husband. Now, it becomes a little bit of a challenge. And that's how we came up with this book. Step by step, it shows you how to overcome those barriers and become a nurturing husband. And this will change the way our brothers actually view life, the way our husbands look at life. It will change your life forever. So we encourage all our brothers, all our husbands, uncles to have this book.
What is interesting about this book is about the husbands. Can you see how small it is? We are very simple people. In fact, we had to stretch our sentences to fill these few pages. Well, it's very important, but for the
ladies here,
can you
it's
see?
this one here.
And we still haven't done justice yet.
Yeah.
It is interesting. Very good.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this one also is the one that fully expounds on the 6 strings, the 6 marriage strings. It was our first book, so it's very close to our hearts. It's tuning your relationship to last a lifetime. And in this book, you get our practical life experiences, including how we met each other. And so we encourage you to grab each one of these books. Some people have grabbed all of them because they all have something unique in each one of them based on research. So we encourage you to buy them as a gift for someone. And you know what? We might just save a marriage. And if only we can save one. I'm not asking for many marriages. Only one. Then we'll have done the trick. Thank you.
Wow. So talking about all the 6 strings and how to make a woman blossom, I would like to ask, what is the secret? What is your little secret in keeping love alive? You've talked a lot about how you have managed your home, how you have kept your home together, your love, your work, the ministry. What is an extra little secret you want to give to our viewers and to lovers out there tonight?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question, and we've been asked so many times. And what we realized is that apparently there is no school. There is no marriage school. Whilst we go to school to become drivers, to get a driver's license, there is no school for marriage. And so we want to encourage our viewers to love their spouses. Love them unconditionally. Create time for them. Create time for your spouse and for your relationship. We have done that and it works. It's wonderful. Brag about your spouse in public. Just talk something nice about your spouse. And then look at your spouse positively, not negatively. We are not perfect. But if you focus on the positive things, then you'll have the energy to move forward and to love them. And then also look at the people you're relating with. Are they people that are cherishing marriages? So relate with the right people. And the last one, forgive and forgive and forgive. Pray for your spouse and forgive often. Thank you very much.
Wow. I also borrowed a line from a friend that says, fan the ego of your spouse.
Yes.
Fan their ego. What do you want them to be?
Exactly. You know, we have PhDs, but our most important one is a lifelong PhD. I'm studying her for a lifetime. I hope to grab that PhD when it's fully materialized. And she's also studying me. So it's very, very important indeed.
Yes. So thank you viewers for watching. We'll stay on live with Ayola TV. We'll go on a short break. Thank you.
We make a miracle walking, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. Yeah, we make a miracle walking, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You wipe away all tears. You mend the broken heart. You're the answer to it all. Jesus, you wipe away all tears. You mend the broken heart. You're the answer to it all. To it all. Jesus, yeah. We make miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. We make miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every life. I worship you. Oh, shadadabakasa. I worship you. You are here, meeting every need. I worship you. I worship you. Oh, de amazeke ane.
Welcome back, viewers. You're on Ayola TV, and with me is Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Lucas.
Yes.
So, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Lucas, how are your children? How do they fit in to this dream and ministry, as well as your life, the works that you do?
Who takes that? You take that or I take it? Okay. Let me just say briefly. I think for us, family unit is very, very important. It's paramount. Everything that we do, we view it in using the filter of family. And for us, our most immediate constituents, those that really depend on us, our children, are part of everything that we do. So when it comes to learning how to communicate, learning how to talk within the family unit, our children are the first ones who benefit from what we give to one another. Why do we do that? Because we've remembered that the mandate for marriage, the mandate for long-term relationships is so that me and Flower can be able to use love to infuse it back into the society. And there is no better way to infuse love into society than through our children. They will carry it on even when we are not here.
And yes, just to add, our family time, we also take time to discuss our plans. And so our children are very well engrafted into Marriage Strings vision. So for example, if you look at our Marriage Strings Facebook, all our videos, it's our son who has taken us. This morning, for example, it's our daughter who did my makeup. And so they are really part of it. And then we prayed together, and then we had to come here. So we really value that family unit. And that's what actually gives us that love for each other as well, because we see our children also growing and taking it up. So they are fully well informed. They are part of this program, and we love them so much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Doctor, and Dr. Jones and Dr. Beatrice.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your life experience, and thank you for all that you have done.
Yes.
Now we've come to the end of this program. I would really love Dr. Jones or Dr. Beatrice to end the show for us with a little tune from the 6 strings of the guitar.
Yes.
Yes, please, if there's a little
You could have
tune.
another song, maybe.
Yes.
Another quick
All
song. Yeah.
right. So now, what do? We do a little number. This is a song by a Tanzanian musician called Fadhili Williams.
Yes.
It is a song that was composed in 1963. In 1963, I think Flower and I were still in the dreams of our parents. But this song lives on. And listen it. It says Malaika in Swahili, which means angel.
Yes.
Let's try and sing it. Hopefully you can also sing it with us. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Nami nifanyeje, kijana mwenzio, nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika. Nashindwa na mali sina we, ningekuoa malaika. 6 strings.
Yes.
6 strings. Thank you very much for being with us here. Thank you, viewers. It's been Ayola TV, and my name is Ebele Salami. With me again is Dr. Jones and Dr. Beatrice. Hope to see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Cheta,